Hello, I'm Ann Sherman. I work for the Pennsylvania Game Commission, specifically at Middle Creek Wildlife Management Area. I'll be reading a story to you for the Wildlife Storytime. And the title of this one is Raccoon at Clear Creek Road. It's written by Carolyn Otto, illustrated by Kathy Tratchak. We talk a lot about habitat here at Middle Creek, food, water, shelter, space. So as you listen for the types of foods that the raccoons eat and also what their shelter is. They're something called an omnivore, so that'll give you a hint as to what they eat. As the spring afternoon cools into evening, a flock of starlings settles in a willow tree behind the yellow house on Clear Creek Road. Inside the tree, deep within a hollow, a mother raccoon awakens. Raccoon listens to the starlings above and the rushing creek below. She nuzzled her kits, that's what they call their babies, that are born 2 days before. Their eyes are closed and their ears are shut, but their mouths are wide open. Their hungry cries sound like the twittering birds. Raccoon nurses her kits until they grow drowsy with milk. She croons to them. She washes each kit with her tongue. Once they are clean and fed and fast asleep, Raccoon must find her own dinner. She has not eaten since the kits were born. She climbs from the hollow in the tree, head first to the ground. Light from the windows of the house makes a pattern on the grass. Raccoon moves along in the shadows. She sees well in the night, and darkness hides and protects her. Raccoon sniffs at the vegetable garden at one side of the garage. It is too early for peas to grow and far too early for corn. The garden smells of dirt. There is nothing to eat. At the edge of the driveway, 3 garbage cans smell like supper. Standing to her full height, Raccoon pushes against one. Crash! A light snaps on near the garage. Raccoon runs to hide. Her masked face and ringed tail blend in with the backyard shadows. Raccoon hears footsteps, a scraping, a clatter, and the rumble of the garage door moving up and then down. The light goes out. The night is quiet. Raccoon sneaks along the driveway. The garbage cans are gone. The smell of things to eat comes now from the garage. The door is closed. She cannot get in. Hungrier still and thirsty too, Raccoon turns back toward the creek. A faint twittering overhead makes her climb the willow. Her kits are sleeping. The sound must have come from a starling. Raccoon climbs down again and this time heads for the water. She stops to drink, then splashes in up to her belly. With her front paws, she explores the shallows. She touches mud, sticks, and a pine cone. The water feels cold and is running fast with rain from recent storms. Raccoon wades deeper to chase the silver flash of a minnow. The pull of the creek grows stronger. She loses her footing and the water sweeps her away. But raccoons can swim. Raccoon tumbles over drowned branches and a rock. She goes under and water rushes above her head, but she struggles up to the surface. With her nose high, Raccoon paddles to the other side of the creek and she scrambles up the bank. She is not hurt, though she is still very hungry. Raccoon shakes the water from her fur and cleans off the mud with her tongue. Raccoon can see her willow tree across the creek. Light from the yellow house shines through its branches and reflects off a bright piece of tin foil near her feet. Raccoon turns the foil over in her paws. Hidden just beneath it is an earthworm. Food! She drops the foil to pounce on it. Raccoon eats the worm, another worm, and a beetle. she finds a store of acorns and dried berries forgotten by a squirrel. Raccoon eats and feels better. Hoo, 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 Raccoon sits up to listen. Hoo, 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 a dark shape sweeps over the water toward the willows. Her kids could be in danger. Raccoon paces along the back, looking for a crossing. From a jutting boulder, she leaps to the slick back of a log. She slips and catches herself, teetering. Sliding, she claws her way to the other side of the creek. Raccoon is at the foot of her tree when she scents a mouse. The smell is strong, delicious, and easy to follow. Raccoon hesitates, sniffing. Hoo, 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 the owl wheels overhead. Raccoon clambers up the tree. She must protect her kids. With a rush of nearly silent wings, the owl dives toward the hollow. Raccoon hisses. She is ready to fight, but the owl plummets past her, then plucks up the mouse and is gone. Breathing fast, her hair is still on end. Raccoon trills to her kids. They are safe and soundly asleep, and they are too young to answer her. Sometime soon their ears will open, and their eyes will open, black and bright. Before long, they will be big enough to follow her to the shadowed yard below. Then the kids will prowl with her around the yellow house on Clear Creek Road. There will be sugar peas in the garden and sweet corn later on. The creek will grow lazy and slow with the heat of summer, and Raccoon will teach her kids to swim and to fish for silver minnows. Raccoon snuggles down with her kids, and they begin to twitter. That's a really neat story, isn't it? So did you listen for the food that they like to eat? There's something called an omnivore. So they eat plants and they eat animals. Do you remember any of the animals that Raccoon liked to eat? There were minnows, they mentioned a mouse, and there might have been more. Think about it. And as far as the plants, they said sugar peas and corn and acorns and berries. And raccoons will even eat trash. So they're something called omnivores. Hope you enjoyed the book, and check in with the other stories that we offer.